All right, folks, I'm making some more ghee. I have used salted butter before, but I'm using the unsalted. This is the Meyer brand butter. I love this butter. It's like heads and tails above any other kind of butter, including Land O'Lakes and the Happy Cows kind or whatever. It just tastes better. And it's 100% pure butter. So now I'm just melting down 12 sticks of this. I do it in 12 stick batches. I have my cheesecloth ready to strain it. I have my jars ready to fill up. It won't probably take all of these because these are bigger than a pint or a half pint. So, but not a pint. I don't know how many ounces they are, 12 or something. I have my Dollar Tree lids, which these work great. I have my rings. And you don't, I fill them up hot, put the lid on, and let it seal. But you don't have to. Like the ghee is just fat from the butter. You remove all the milk solids. So it's shelf stable. In fact, here's some I made a 9 of 22, right? And it, I haven't refrigerated it or anything. So a lot of people will say this is clarified butter. It's not really clarified butter. You boil the solids to the bottom, but you don't let them brown. These you let the solids brown on the bottom. Just gives it a little bit better of a flavor, and I'm assuming that makes it more shelf stable, but I don't know. I've never made clarified butter. So I'll bring you along and just kind of show you this pan as it starts to boil. We're just going to let it melt down here first. All right, so I'm just going to go through like why do I make ghee. I'm primarily a carnivore, but I do occasionally enjoy some popcorn. The microwave popcorn that you get is made with seed oils. Most of the butter toppings that you get for popcorn are seed oil. Even if you pop it in a pan, a lot of people use soybean oil or canola oil. I have done it in avocado oil before, but the ghee has the buttery flavor that makes the popcorn taste great. So there's that. And I also make popcorn for my family. My son does have some microwave popcorn. I would like to get him off of that and get him just eating my ghee popcorn. Plus it's cheaper. It's just a couple of tablespoons of popcorn makes a great big giant bowl that the whole family can enjoy. There's really not that many carbohydrates in 2 tablespoons of corn, So it's still a low carb snack that you can enjoy if you can handle having some vegetables. You absolutely don't need vegetables in your diet. And some people can handle them and some people can't. I can handle a minimal amount. So occasionally I like to do that. If it's a movie night or something, we're going to sit down and watch a movie, I'll have some popcorn. Plus I use it like butter. I can put it on anything, fry my eggs in it, and use it just like butter. And it's shelf stable. So I think we're starting to boil here. Hang on. All right, we're starting to boil. We see this white foam. The white foam can look different with different brands and types of butter, even the same types sometimes. You have more foam or less foam. I don't know why. But we're just going to let this boil. And eventually those bubbles are going to get bigger and less. And then you'll be able to just tip the pan a little bit and look at the bottom and see if the solids are browning. But this is boiling all the moisture off of it, and then the solids will fall out to the bottom of the pan. This is really easy to make, and it's so much cheaper than buying it in a bottle at the store. But you don't want to walk away from it. You want to stay here with it and keep watching it. Because the changeover to brown solids happens really fast, and it's easy to get them black and burnt. So I will say, where did I learn how to make ghee? Because I used to buy it in a jar and it was really expensive. I learned it from Rose Red Homestead. She has a few great videos. Her latest video or she does it on a burner in her middle countertop on a propane stove is probably the best one, but they're all good. So I will put a link to that video down below. That's a great video to learn how to make ghee if you're a newcomer to it. I just pretty much follow her method, and it works every single time. Also, I'll say once I get it to where it's boiling like this and it's all melted, I do not stir it anymore. I do not use my spatula and stir it up. I think that just makes it take longer for the solids to fall out. It's the Doug and Stacy channel. I forget what the channel's called, but they live on rainwater and poop in buckets. They have a real popular channel. It's a great channel. I love them. In fact, I got some sauerkraut fermenting up there right now. So I've learned about fermenting vegetables from them. She makes it in her oven, and she has like a wood oven, and I think that's okay. But on my gas stove, I tried that, and it started to bubble, and the grease splashed out, and it got down the stove, and by the time I got the stove turned off, it had already dropped down to the burner, which was on, and it caught on fire, and it set the whole oven on fire, and it took me 2 fire extinguishers to get it out. I had to get my fire extinguisher up here. I got most of it out. I had to run down to the basement, grab the fire extinguisher down there, and get the rest of it out. It took forever to clean up that mess. So I wouldn't recommend that if you maybe have an electric or gas stove. Maybe on a wood stove it works great. That method just didn't work for me, so I use this method. Alright, now you can see the boiling bubbles have gotten a lot smaller and faster, and it's starting to make some bigger bubbles at the top. Sometimes this will make a lot of big bubbles, and sometimes it's very few. But we just continue to let it boil. And you'll start, I don't know, you can really tell it on video, but you'll start to see where the top's getting really clear and all the solids are falling down towards the bottom. And you can take and just turn this pan a little bit like so every once in a while to see if you're getting brown on the bottom yet. But it's still got, probably 10 or 15 minutes here. Go ahead and turn this so you can see that those solids are starting to pile up on the bottom there. And this would be kind of your clarified butter stage, right? But you want to keep going and let those solids go all the way down and really turn brown. You can actually see some of the solids still circulating in this oil, and those will settle down and they'll brown on the bottom, and that's how you'll know you're ready. But you can see the bubbles are a lot finer now. There's a lot more of them, and the foamy bubbles on top are getting bigger. Okay, now the sound has changed. We don't hear any of really as many of the big bubbly sounds. The bubbles are getting really big on top. The foam is, the bubbles in it, and the bubbles underneath are getting very small. So we start to turn this. And we see we're not quite brown yet, but we're getting real close. So now I'll just keep watching this and wait for those solids to turn brown. Okay, so this has a lot of bubbles on it. This happens sometimes. But if you kind of look down here, you can start to see those solids are browning up. So we'll turn it. Take a look and see how we're a nice brown color. That's as far as we want to go with it. So we'll turn the heat off and I'll get ready to pour it in. So now I'm going to pour the ghee down in here and let it just strain through the cheesecloth. And you see there is some brownish, some really dark brown. So I might let that go just a tad too long, but that's about perfect. So now we'll just let that drain and then we'll fill up the jars. Okay, so now I'm gonna use my funnel. A lot of people don't, but I do. And you're just going to pour this in here. You want to make sure these jars are completely dry before you go pouring hot ghee in here. This stuff is really still very hot. I'll just fill up the jars. The headspace is not critical on these. And this will probably be a partial jar right here, and that is fine. If it's a partial jar, it will still store just fine. Now I'm going to take and just clean these tops off with a paper towel and some vinegar. Just to get rid of any, be careful, the jars are very hot. Now we'll put our lids on. These are my Dollar Tree lids. They seem to work great. And we'll just put them on there first, and then I'll tighten them. Ooh, hot jar. Now we're just going to take our pot holder, and I tighten these down pretty good because they don't have to process, they just have to stick and draw a vacuum as it cools. And there we have it. We have our ghee, and that will solidify and turn yellow and get solid like this one here, and you'll have ghee that you can use. I'm probably going to go ahead and make another batch while I have everything dirty and ready. You know, my cheesecloth dirty and everything. Make a couple batches. I have 3 more packs of unsalted butter, so I'll be set there.